Welcome to Talent Hub Talk. I am Ben Duncan, and this is a place where prominent and inspirational figures from both the local ANZ and global Salesforce Ohana share their stories. Happy New Year and welcome back to Talent Hub Talk. I hope you had a great break. Hope you enjoyed some time off over the holiday season. Personally, I took a nice break and I'm now recharged and refreshed for 2023. Today, I'm going to be doing a quick preview of what I think is to come this year. If you heard the review of 2022 that was released late 2022, December, you will know that we faced some more challenging months towards the end of that year. The good news is that we have already spoken to several companies that are still expecting to have demand and plans to grow in 2023. Interestingly as well, after I recorded the 2022 review, news broke that Aware, an Australian Salesforce partner, had been acquired by Merkle, which goes to show that there is still investment out there in the ecosystem. So, what's in store this year? Well, we saw several projects get pushed out in late 2022, so hopefully we will see some of those pick back up in late Q1 or early Q2 of this year. There are still a number of companies that had open roles in late 2022 that have been carried over into 2023. So there are roles out there to be had. There are definitely opportunities available right now. And hopefully if you are looking for work right now, you are finding some opportunities in your area of expertise, in your location, and so on. This year, I do expect that hiring managers will naturally feel that there will be more talent to choose from in the market. This is just because this is the message that will be spread across the media. And whether that's true or not for the Salesforce ecosystem, the perception will be there are more job seekers in the market. I did see that kind of towards the end of last year that there were more people coming available, whether that was unfortunately through a few redundancies that we saw or a few contracts coming to the end of their duration, their projects, and whether that was projects ending, projects not going ahead as planned or things like that. So we definitely did see a few more people coming onto the market, but we also did see roles that were unfilled and companies were struggling to hire for. So I think, obviously the Salesforce market is a market of its own, but hiring managers will be hearing things on the news about, tech layoffs and mass layoffs with some of the bigger tech firms. So they'll have this perception in their head that there are going to be more candidates in the market and expect that they will have more people to choose from. So that's just something to be aware of. But this will mean that more hiring managers will become pickier, I suspect, in 2023, whereas before they might have been a bit more flexible on some of their requirements. I think they'll try to get the very best person available in the market for their requirements this year and be more picky than they would have been in the first half of 2022. So now is a good time for any job seekers out there to really focus on their gaps, improve their overall skill set and really amplify their strengths. So it's a good time to really review where you're at, where you could improve, areas that you haven't worked with of Salesforce, particular products that might be in demand this year, speak to peers, speak to previous managers, find out where your gaps are and really focus on developing those and really sharpening your tools and making sure that you're as well positioned as you can be for any requirements that come up this year for your skill set. I expect that there'll be less consultants hiring for a bench this year, and they'll hold off actively hiring until they are very confident of winning a project or having an excellent pipeline of potential projects for any new hires. Whereas kind of early last year, consultants were really all hiring and expecting high demand and lots of projects coming through. So a lot of partners would have hired before projects were finalized or, were happy to hire for a bench because they were confident that they would be able to place those people on a project. This year, I think it will be a bit tighter where people will be looking to, make sure projects are confirmed or make sure budgets are in place for potential projects before making a hire. And this isn't actually a bad thing. I think it's better for new hires if they're hired into a secure role. And it means that anyone joining a consulting practice should be hopefully going on to projects quite quickly. So having that feeling of security rather than having to worry about, when is this project going to land? Have I been hired, just to sit on the bench? And if I am on the bench, how long will they keep me? Hopefully there's going to be less of that this year and consultancies are going to be hiring based on real demand that they're seeing and approved demand or confirmed demand. There has been a lot of money spent on Salesforce implementations over the last few years, and that's good news because these now need to be supported and also enhanced. So There will be companies out there looking to kind of reduce expenditure, but there will also be companies that acknowledge that Salesforce can be a real competitive advantage for them and will look to continue developing the platform this year and beyond. So we saw lots of projects across a range of industries last year, from government, public sector, both federal and local governments, and utilities, banks, retail, you name it. There were projects here, there, and everywhere. Higher education. So the thing about Salesforce is, obviously, once it's implemented, it still needs to be supported. So whether that's companies hiring for admins or hiring for developers because they've got a lot of code in their system, these platforms don't just take care of themselves, as I'm sure you know. But often companies think Salesforce is plug and play, and the reality is they are going to need to invest in people and invest in the platforms once they're live. So I expect there'll be lots of BAU work this year and lots of need for people to kind of keep the lights on and keep evolving platforms. We'll see how many new implementations are out there. There'll definitely be some. Whether or not there'll be as many new projects and big enhancements, big pieces of work this year, I guess we'll have to wait and see on that. But there'll definitely be pieces of work, and there'll definitely be requirements for people to get the most out of platforms that are already built. I'm definitely still seeing a major shortage of candidates in a few different areas. So as probably most people would expect, we still see a real lack of very, very solid Salesforce developers with strong engineering skills, and people that follow best practice, are comfortable in areas such as developing LWCs, working on integrations, and also people that have good DevOps skills and experience. When there are requirements in that area, there's definitely a shortage of available talent with good skills in those areas. We're definitely seeing a shortage of Salesforce architects, both technical, solution, enterprise, you name it. If you're a really good, high quality Salesforce architect with good experience on complex projects, then there'll always be demand for you. There'll always be opportunities, and there just aren't enough people with that kind of experience in the market. We still see Salesforce administrators and functional consultants with excellent business engagement skills as an area of shortage. I think last year we saw a lot of companies struggling to hire admins that were really comfortable in front of the business, and also functional consultants that could really take a company on the journey. That's an area that we'll continue to see a shortage of, because those consulting skills, they can be hard to teach. The communication skills as well aren't always the easiest to kind of teach and guide. So although people can learn Trailhead and pick up different Trailhead badges and learn different areas of the Salesforce platform, the business engagement skills often don't come as easily as some of the technical skills. So we're definitely seeing a shortage of people with those skills. And then also product specialists, so Velocity or Salesforce Industries, MuleSoft, CPQ, Marketing Cloud, and Commerce Cloud. So we still haven't seen in the Australian and New Zealand Salesforce market as many product specialists as perhaps you see in the US and other markets, but we have seen more demand for people with specializations in certain products. So if you're an expert in one of those Salesforce products or clouds, then I suspect there'll still be good opportunities for you this year, and good opportunities to continue making a name for yourself in your niche. If the market does continue to tighten, then there will be industries that do better than others, and therefore job seekers need to consider both the global and local economies and which industries may be safer bets than others. It's difficult to say how different industries will be impacted by the global economy and the local economy, but historically when there have been downturns, there have been kind of industries that have done better or have been safer bets for job seekers. So things like government historically have done well, and people that have worked in the government industry or sector have had sometimes some more job security than other industries. So it's just worth doing some research around that. If you are a job seeker, looking at different industries that you could potentially lean towards or gain expertise in, where it might kind of have a bit more protection from any further downturns. So as it stands, it does look like we are going to face some slower months as 2023 gets started compared to early 2022. And I think it's really, we're finding that the market is balancing out more rather than really focusing on it being a huge downturn. I think we're going to see more of a normalization in terms of job requirements and demand back to the kind of pre-COVID levels. So the Salesforce market was still a great place to be pre-COVID. There were still lots of opportunities. Obviously, over the last couple of years through COVID, we've seen a huge increase in volume of opportunities. We've seen an increase in salaries. It's been an amazing place to work as a Salesforce professional. But don't forget that it was a great place to work before COVID and before the real spike in requirements. It was still a very good market to be in. There were good opportunities. There were exciting projects. And I think we're probably getting back towards the norm of pre-COVID and the kind of volume of requirements we saw back then, weekly, monthly, and so on. So yeah, I guess the message here is it's still hopefully going to be a great place to be as a Salesforce professional. The market's still going to, serve up opportunities. It's really about working out what you can do to ensure that you are sharpening your tools and being the best that you can be this year, so that when opportunities are available and you're positioning yourself and making sure that companies are getting you in for an interview and you're standing out amongst the crowd of potential job seekers. My goals for 2023 are to help as many Salesforce professionals find the right opportunities, to continue progressing in their careers, and to find top talent, both experienced and aspiring, for the best Salesforce customers. So I'd love to hear from you if I can help you. I'll always do my best to help, and looking forward to working with as many people in 2023 as possible. Thank you very much for listening. I hope you enjoyed the chat, and if you did, please make sure you have subscribed for future episodes that are coming through. I would also be very grateful if you would consider leaving a review on your chosen podcast platform, as 5-star reviews will help us to reach more trailblazers from across the world. I look forward to sharing another episode with you soon, and thanks again.